3, you can expect us to have learned from our major. A big part of it was we wanted to go into the major and see what we could learn. We also wanted to make it out of groups, but that didn't happen. But all the guys figured out, it's like, okay, if we want to make it out of groups next time, here's what we need to do, or here's where we want to improve and see us move and grow as a team. And that's one of the things, that's the core of like how we're going to drive our improvement, is everybody coming together and saying, we want this for ourselves and we want it for each of the other guys, so we're going to drive towards that.
Obviously, coming back from Mexico, we were focused on improving rather than, kind of sulk on our, disappointing results. We took that as an opportunity to learn as much as we could and apply that to how we want to improve as a team. So I think going into stage 3, you're going to see the best iteration of the Soniqs yet.
I make sure the house is locked and secure. I make sure you're not still hiding in your room.
1 minute late. 1 minute late. Yeah, let's go 1 minute late, baby.
I think we experienced a lot of maturity from that. As a team, it's like, you're losing, and people who normally do good, but they do bad, and individual just people not being where they need to be in order to succeed at the major. And I don't think anyone attacked anybody at all. It was very humbling experience as a team. Everyone just kind of took it together, and no one was putting any more blame on other than they were themselves.
I think it's important for people to understand that when you say you've learned stuff from Mexico, it's not, or you've learned stuff from anything, it's not just saying you're going to emulate that, because one, most of the time you can never do it better than the original, right? You can't just say we're going to play like Cyclops Gaming now. We can't play like Cyclops Gaming. They play like Cyclops Gaming. I think it's important to just take things that you can use, a philosophy almost, like that it's okay to play like crazy aggressive. We specifically learned something important about comms. We have a lot of very hyper people on the team, and comms can get flooded. But when we would observe the really good teams like NIP and teams like that, they're barely speaking outside of their IGL and outside of certain things that are very important for them in the round. They don't really talk much. They kind of leave the air open to be able to focus. And that was a big thing for us to learn.
And one of the things that we wanted to try and do with the comms was to level it out so it's sustained more rather than peaks and valleys. So with that, the guys all kind of came together. We kind of lowered the volume and the pacing of the communication, and it's worked wonders for helping keep everybody focused and also lowering the stress levels of everyone overall.
Wait, do the stages have monitor arms?
No.
They don't. Wow, good job.
Nope, you're back in NAL.
Yep. I mean, I'm not complaining because there's hella space, but Richie, who his nose touches the in front of the monitor.
Can you make sure these have, I don't think these have SSDs. Because if you're looking at it, there's not, for the other ones, they just open and close.
Well, until I'm choosing.
Alright, buddy. This shit has hella recoil, bro. It's not shooting, bro. Can't do the Terminator.
He shot that guy 6 times.
Richie, no one did it but you.
Get on top of it. Dude, you're crazy. I could pick this, oh, it has wheels.
For the first week of NAL Stage 3, I think we definitely have a challenging schedule. We're playing Disrupt. I refuse to call them Astralis. I haven't done anything to earn the name. So we played Disrupt, who last stage, obviously we played in the last game to kind of decide who gets to go to the major. I believe they finished 4th and 5th, and then we play SSG, who obviously won last stage in NAL. Even if we go 0-2, we know we're playing really high quality teams, but I don't think that that'll be an issue for us. I think if we play our game, take the things that we have learned from Mexico to improve on into these games, we're going to catch them off guard, and I think we should be able to handle them.
So Disrupt rebranding to Astralis, congratulations to those guys, really huge pickup. They're the same team. We expect to beat them.
Hey, gun up. Why don't you say gun up?
He's close.
Down half wall, down half wall.
Okay,
I'm gonna clear the bulletproof. Clear that
I'm gonna
bulletproof.
I'm gonna nade him. Alright, we can go for a
on
plan.
pink, prone on pink. Prone right here. Wall bang and
Line of fireplace,
prone
the stairs,
on the ground.
Dead?
I'm about to go in for a plan.
Dead.
I'm
Reset!
going in.
Reset!
He's
It
pushing
is on
in.
time. You win. Let's go! Nice, baby.
Good play.
Let's go!
Help your f***ing team.
Oh, can you right now?
Can't.
Flanking blue, flanking blue. Audio.
Alright, looking blue.
Bombs down.
Close it in.
Yeah,
Last
blue.
one, blue flank, last
Blue
one,
flank.
last one. Lit blue, lit blue. 30 HP, 30 HP blue.
Alright, yeah, don't give him anything.
Inside.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Alright,
It's all good,
half wall,
it's all good.
half wall.
One half wall. Half wall?
Jaeger's still
One half
above you.
wall.
Jaeger's still above you.
Oh, Jaeger's ending hall.
They're both there.
Apple.
Nice try, nice try, nice try, nice try.
I see her.
No, bounce it down, push it down, push it down.
By inside, running dining hall, running dining
Yes!
hall.
Jaeger.
Let's go.
Sit the f*** down.
These guys are terrible, bro. Hey, lobby stairs.
You wallbang me behind
Stock
there.
bottom
still.
blue.
One star.
Push in the mirror.
Bottom
Push in
blue
the
and
mirror.
stock.
Hold.
What's the stock?
Last one
Reset.
stock. Play together. 3v1. In stock, left side door. Left side door in stock. Trapped in the corner.
I have him.
Let's go. Let's go.
Holy, look at him. He's like,
Hey,
I need help.
bro, the Yankee something textbook.
On the wall.
He has to get
use.
One shot, one shot. Nice.
Hey, come on, baby. Come on, baby. Let's go, man. Thank God they didn't send you to the major. You might not have won a round.
Goddamn.
By the bomb, by the bomb. Another
One
one,
dead,
another one,
right?
another one, by the bomb.
Map dead. Okay,
That was him.
That was him. 2v3.
Reset, 3v2.
Yep.
Ivory dining hall.
Good bomb.
Nice.
Nice.
So bad. Look at that. Like,
I got nothing to say.
they got the guy 2 and 7 peek in the hatch.
I got
What are
nothing
you
to say,
doing?
Richie. I got nothing to say to him this round.
Yeah,
Nothing to say.
2, 3.
Yeah, blue stairs.
Dead.
Nice.
Lobby. Yo, dropped. He dropped downstairs. He dropped down.
Where?
He dropped down in the basement.
Ah! Let's go, baby. Give me a 4K. I don't even know if they even played that map for real. Like, I don't know who the f goes master 3 times in a row on a chalet defensive split when you could have went to the one site you won already, and you didn't even go to the most successful defensive site in the goddamn map. Bar's on the map, boys. You got to go to bar.
We expect SSG to be the tougher game. Obviously, they finished first place last stage. They made a roster change and brought in Skies, who is, I would say, a legendary kind of player who had, he took an off split after leaving Dark Zero, stage 1. And they're replacing Thinking Nade, who himself is a bit of a legendary player. So SSG definitely has like a little bit of a super team. Like, their roster is extremely strong. So I definitely think they're going to be the harder game in regards to Astralis. We've never lost to them. We've never really struggled with them. I think the most rounds they've won against us is like 4. Maybe they won 5. I can't remember. But that's because they're kind of forgettable.
SSG is always a game. Those games are always really close. They're games of inches. Stage 1, we beat them 7-4 on Clubhouse with Luke subbing in. And then stage 2, we lost to them 7-4. And that was with the Thinking Nade version of the roster that ended up, I think, going undefeated overall, or losing 1 game. I think they only lost 1 game, but they placed first. So we were able to use that first game against SSG, that first loss, to kind of pivot us and like leap start into the rest of the stage to make sure we were doing what we needed to do.
90 down. 2 hookah, 1 cool.
Reset,
2
2v2.
reset.
Cool. Base. Dead.
Nice.
Also,
2
one.
Just hold.
You guys. Ain't no one better than y'all.
One's dead.
I know you're there,
Nice, yo.
Down
On
on
office.
blue.
And blue.
Behind
They're
blue,
both there.
both there.
Both
Both
there.
there. Plenty behind bar, Evan.
He's behind the bar right now. Pushing your door.
Window.
At your door.
Under rotate. Under rotate. You gotta close those out!
Yeah, I think office is rotated out.
Yeah, my 90 came right.
I'm gonna push him out of office.
On my sun window. I'm gonna
Got
rotate.
it, nice,
Good job,
nice.
Evan. I
You
left.
guys.
And CC, Jack walking lobby, dead. Last one looking white, in CC.
He's coming in bathroom, I think.
Nice fucking go. Getty, good f***ing assistance, bro.
I got you, brother. I got you.
Go, bro.
Nice.
Jackal base.
190.
Jackal's
Yeah.
gonna walk up 90.
He team killed. Another 190. Evan,
Turning my phone,
careful.
turning my phone.
One
Yeah,
push in.
Jackal close.
90.
Well, swing it, poor thing.
Jackal on thing.
Pull 90. Pull.
Baby.
What
What is that?
That's what we like to see right there.
On Yeti.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
dropping.
Bombs out. Good attack.
We're dead.
Big window dead.
One more big window. One security. Pablo push through. Right side. Look at
Security
bomb.
dead.
Look at bomb. It's on it. Right
He's
side.
on it.
Getty.
Yeti, that's so Let's go!
Push in lobby.
I see me. Pull back. Bombs out. Bomb's gonna be down.
Blue
by
bar,
the
last one. Blue bar. Where am Blue bar?
I don't know.
He's couches.
Couches. You like couches?
Dead?
Jaeger, yo, Sundor.
We always go into a match expecting to win. Obviously, going against SSG, we knew it was going to be a very difficult match. And we played a map that we have never played against any team. That was the first time we played Coastline. So for us, it was a bit of a test and a way to see where our Coastline stands. And it worked out in our favor. I thought that was arguably the best game we've played as a team.
After the SSG game, I was just relieved. Like that game was, again, it's just so close, games of inches. And I said it to the guys immediately after. I think that was like one of the best overall team games that we've played the entire year.
For me, I'm never somebody who's really going to get that many kills. It's just not my job on the team, and it's also not really my roles. Now, would I like to get more kills? Definitely. Like, you know, you're trying to kill people, obviously. Maybe you don't have the opportunity as much, but I do feel like I sometimes have opportunities to get more kills than I get. For me, it's more so trying to enable the other 4 people on our team to have success and to make the right calls as the in-game leader as the game goes on that are going to help us win. So if I have the worst stats in the world, but the other 4 players on my team are being recognized for having great stats or being great, I could care less how I do statistically. I only care about how we do in the win-loss column.
And I think there's a nice balance between me and Seth because I'm a very hyperactive person. I think a lot, and sometimes I think too much, and I can make decisions that maybe aren't the best for the team just because I'm thinking a lot in a moment, and maybe that's not best for the greater scheme of things. And Seth is a more, I would say, grounded person, and he kind of can stop me from overthinking a lot of these times when I'm like, we're just kind of having team discussions. Maybe we could do this, maybe we could do this, because after we lost the Mexico Major, there's a lot of discussion on what we want to change, whether for the NAL going forward. And a lot of ideas got stunted because it's like we're talking, and so I was like, I think we might be going a little too much into that, maybe, but probably not. I'm like, okay, and then we'd find compromise there, and then things that ended up obviously being best for us.
And so having somebody who says, I don't need to play fragging roles. I can provide assistance and be a leader figure, and I can provide some value that is not just putting numbers on the scoreboard, is incredibly important. And you also have somebody within Seth who is able to enable and bring out the best in all of his players. So the guys are able, of course, they're all exceptional players, they're all able to perform really well, but I think the part that really makes this team work is the fact that Seth is a selfless player who enables everyone else to succeed at the cost of himself.
Your team attitude matters a lot. Like, even when we got shit on in Mexico, like immediately after, everybody was like trying to talk about or figure out what we could work on, how we want to get better, and nobody was sitting there sulking, oh, I did bad,
I mean, yeah, we had that problem on Exit. People would go home and carry the game with them, and it would be silent in the house for 48 hours till the next scrim, and just you would think we got told that Exit left the game, which is probably going to happen very soon. If
you got to realize you're basically playing a sport. Nobody wins every game.
Yeah.
Only one team can be the best. Only one team is
going to be the worst.
You have to be able, if you have to be able to accept and handle it like a man that you're not the best.
Yeah.
And if you let any kind of issue get to you, where it's people have to worry about your mental if you lose one game, you're not cut out for it, homie. I think it's important for people who have aspirations of being a pro player, who have aspirations of honestly doing anything competitive, to understand that if you can't handle losing, you can't handle being in something competitive. No one goes undefeated. The best people in every sport of all time, they all lose. Michael Jordan lost in the playoffs several times before he won the finals. LeBron James has lost 4 finals. In our game, nobody goes undefeated. You're always going to lose, but it's important to have the mentality, to have the mental strength, to have the maturity that if you lose, you can use that loss to bounce back, to learn something from it, to fuel you, not to start blaming your teammates, not to start saying, why didn't we do this? Why didn't we do that? You have to understand that you can learn from losing, and you shouldn't be, in a way, looking for somebody to blame for losing. Because I think a lot of people get nervous when they lose, especially in esports. They get nervous when they lose, they get nervous when they do bad. and they think their job's on the line, because there is a problem with job security in esports. And rather than worry about what can fix the team, what they can work on to get better, they start worrying about how they can spin this so they're not the problem, somebody else is the problem. And if you're worrying about identifying what the problem is on your team, who the players are, that's the problem, instead of trying to figure out how you can get better as a team or fix the issues that your team is having, then you're not cut out for it. Teams that stick together, teams that work on their problems, more often than not, they're gonna be better long-term than the team that's changing their player like every stage. And some of the teams don't realize that. Some of the teams maybe don't have the leadership to identify that. Some of the teams might have too much organizational pressure to win, and it's not even up to them. But I definitely believe that you have to have the strong mindset, and you have to understand how to lose to learn how to win. And some people, they're so desperate to win that they don't really ever learn how to lose.
People, when they see us, they have some sort of like visceral reaction. And it is heated, sometimes it's nasty, and sometimes it's just a totally outlandish. And that's a good spot to be in as a team, as a performer in a sport. Coming from acting or improv, you want like people to feel something in the audience. You want them to have like some kind of reaction to be like, oh, I feel this way. I need those guys to lose. I'm gonna bet all my channel points because I really think that they are gonna lose. So I'm gonna put the house on it.
Well, it's kind of poetic because any like superhero story, the villain never sees himself as the villain. They see themselves as the hero doing something just, while the hero is doing their own thing that's just, right? So it's like, of course, people to me are the villains, but they're villains because of how they've treated me in the past as a person. Whereas me, the most I've done is honestly shit talk them to their face on stage, and I've given them that respect. They've never given me that respect. It's always in, the Xbox chat or some other like Twitter chat, and they're just saying, oh, yeah, he's horrible, he's gonna get dropped, 2 weeks, he's toxic, he takes over teams and just ruins teams. Like, these are things that people would say about me behind my back. So in my opinion, they're the villain. I'm just doing my thing. Like I said, I'm a villain because I display passion and we win. And I beat their favorite teams. These people are villains to me because they're quite literally trying to tear somebody down so they can see their own level of success. I think it's just bullshit.
I think it's always important to have somebody to root against. It's just the nature of anything. People like a good guy, people like a bad guy. They like to choose sides. That's just the nature of life, really. For us, it's not like so much on purpose. Obviously, we've gained the reputation as the villains pretty much because of me. I've been on the team since it started. I've been with the Soniqs since the org started. So literally the Soniqs reputation within Rainbow is strictly based off of my reputation, and I am seen as the villain of Rainbow, probably of the NA scene. That's kind of what I have like notoriety for, I guess you'd say. And interestingly enough, the guys on the team that we've picked up from United, they kind of have embodied that a little bit. Yeti's definitely like amped up his personality to try to like personify that villain. Even the other guys with all the trash talking and stuff like that, I don't think it's on purpose. I just think it's who they are. But I think now, because people were already associating the Soniqs as the villain, the Super's so mean, Super's this, Super's that, whatever they do, people are going to see in like a villainous way. Am I actually like a scumbag? I mean, I would say no. Maybe other people have different opinions. I have dropped a lot of people, I guess, so maybe they would. But yeah, at the end of the day, I wouldn't consider myself an IRL villain, like a Darth Vader, but I'm glad to be Darth Vader on TV. When I retire, obviously I'm undecided. I don't know when I plan to. I have an idea about it, but no like set date. It's more so just something like I'm aware I'm creeping up on that time. I know like with the Soniqs, I have other opportunities that go outside of playing. So, I don't really even need to worry about like the post-playing career. I kind of already know what I'm gonna do. But yeah, I do wonder when I retire, will I get the same kind of response that some of the like the other OG players have gotten in terms of like, they're like, see, like, we'll miss you, stick around, like that kind of thing? Or is it like, just thank God, like this guy's gone, like, So we'll see.
Yeah, I'd say I'm ready. Confident I can say I'm ready. Because like I said, I got my boys. Seth's still gonna be around. It's not like it's, we're going through a whole change. We're not losing the whole person. We're just losing him in the server. Obviously, you have to adapt and find a suitable replacement in that area, which can be difficult in certain areas and less difficult in others. But when we come to that bridge, we cross it.
With Seth, whenever he decides to step down, I think that's going to be a bittersweet moment for a lot of us, especially after, if it were to come after a season like this. Because look at what we've achieved. We're out in Vegas, we picked up a group of guys who they hadn't had that level of success yet, and now we're starting to find that. So for me, especially because Seth picked me up, he gave me a shot. For me to see him step down would be, in some ways it would be heartbreaking, because this guy gave me a shot. He trusted me to be able to help him, and I think that's something really special. And yeah, we'll see. But again, yeah, bittersweet when it does happen, if it does happen. So again, he's just 19.